So today I just want to give everyone really a snapshot of Chinese tea culture. To start, I just like to acknowledge, like I learned lately. So in addition of China, so tea actually also originated during the same period from in today's China's like geolocation, this area, also India, also Myanmar, so this region. I believe in China, our earliest written document dates back to about 200 CE in a medical book written by Hua Tuo. So tea in China actually started with a medical beverage, is to treat patients. And then it's not until 6th century, so it's about 7th century, about 600 CE, in China's Tang Dynasty, the tea becomes a recreational drinks. And then we fast forward to 16th century, Portuguese, actually here, Portuguese priests and merchants, they traveled to China and then bring teas back to Europe and share with Europe. And then in 17th century, we all know tea become a very popular drinks among British. And then they started to plant tea in large scale in India. Okay, so when I say Chinese tea culture, so it is really, you can really experience and see Chinese tea culture in a Chinese daily life. So for a Chinese household, say, it is one of the 7 necessities in every Chinese household. The other 6 are firewood. So that's before we have electricity. Firewood, rice, oil, salt, soy sauce, and vinegar, plus tea. We call it 柴米油盐酱醋茶. So tea is a very important component for us. And then since Tang Dynasty, like drinking tea is really becomes a essential part of self-cultivation. That's why you can see like thousands of poems, literature, arts, and philosophy that is closely related to tea. So will that also give you an idea? If you really want to have a proper understanding of tea culture, it takes us at least 1,500 years of history. But today we are just going to focus on the drinking customs in China. So in addition of we drink tea on a daily basis as a healthy beverage, we also have a lot of occasions that we hold those tea ceremony. It is a sign of respect. So for Chinese culture, respect, especially respect to elderly, are super important. A proper tea ceremony is also a way for to do apologize, but probably my father wouldn't like me to apologize by me making tea for him because I'm not very good at it. So not working for all people, but just so you know, that's also a proper gesture to like apologize. It's also a way to show gratitude. Today, the most commonly way to say Chinese tea ceremony is during the weddings. So people bring on the tea, and it's usually for the it's for brides and the brooms to kneel down in front of their parents. So it's for the usually it's for the bride to serve tea for the groom's family, and the groom serve tea for the bride's family. It is the symbol of 2 families unite together. It's very common. It's also a sign to show respect and gratitude to both parents. I also just want to briefly talk about the tea house. Early on, Juliana talked about the connection. Human connection is very important. I think for every culture, the human connections are all very important, because without the human involvement, there is no sense of like a culture, right? And the tea houses across China provides this location for people to socialize on a daily basis. In warm part of China, you have the tea houses outside, but in most northern part Chinese city, the tea houses are usually indoor. People get together to socialize. And then in recent years, Starbucks is everywhere. It also becomes a part of Chinese tea culture, because they also have introduced a lot of Chinese tea beverage like longjing, oolong, many Chinese tea, flower tea in Starbucks in China. But at the same time, the traditional tea houses in China has this competition going on. Oh, sorry. So today I just want to set this stage, to have this opportunity I want to have like more opportunity to share with you about, all the education, since children early on in China, they have, if their parents want them to have more traditional Chinese culture, they would send them to school to learn the tea ceremony. We can also talk about how we can use tea ceremony just as a meditation tool. Also a good session about different kinds of teaware, how to make a proper tea ceremony, and a bunch of literature just about tea, Chinese tea culture and everything. At the same time, I would really like to learn the tea culture in your regions, in your countries. That concludes my presentation.